Welcome to Softcore History.
Hi, and welcome back to the Softcore History Podcast.
Very NPR today.
My name is Jake Goldman, and I'm joined here with Robert Edward Fox III.
What's up, you fucking losers?
And the guy shaking his head to my left is Dan Regester. How's it going today, bud?
You know, it's going pretty crazy right now. It's 58-56, Houston.
It's supposed to be...
Oregon State came back from, I believe, 17 at half.
Yeah, down to 17 at the half.
They tied it up. How? This team will not die. I don't get it.
They will not go away. They fight back with the relentlessness of real beavers. They're just trying to dam up everyone's bracket.
Have you guys ever seen that video of the Russian guy who got bit on the thigh by a beaver?
No.
And it severed his femoral artery and he died?
Beavers just
like
go for
right there. Like this beaver was just following him and he was like, because it was like a small dumb dog that can't move fast. Like following him on land and he was just like, the beaver was just like,
just like slowly making its way to go kill him.
And then all of a sudden, I don't know if I can't remember like if he got closer to it or the beaver just like sped up and he wasn't ready for it. And this thing dug its two fucking giant front teeth right through his fucking femoral artery, and he died. He right there. like the last thing he saw was that beaver walking away.
Laugh at me again, motherfucker. Yeah, dude. I mean, that's a dumb way to go. That's a really stupid way to go out. Like,
one of the worst ways to go out I've ever heard.
You were laughing at a dumb beaver and then it murks you?
Yeah. It's the other one that's pretty similar to that is the woman who was murdered by her pack of dachshunds.
What?
You never heard that one either?
No. Are you making shit up?
No, I swear to fucking God. This woman was eaten alive by her dachshunds. Like she had just a bunch of fucking wiener dogs and they ate her alive. And the funniest part was in the police report, they said they had to euthanize an aggressive one on site. So one of these dachshunds just charged a cop and he was like, oh my God, and like didn't know what to do. So he just popped it fucking with his service pistol.
That's got to be like the easiest takedown ever though, with a gun.
Is it? It's got to be hard to hit, right?
I mean, you got to feel bad as you're about to blow.
Yeah, it's more of the, it probably eats away at the cop inside.
Yeah.
He's about to blow away
Okay,
the dog.
Come on.
Old lady pack of dachshunds I get. Why did the cop feel threatened?
You know, cops like to use their guns. I guess.
It's coming right for us.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, they had already discovered the body, I think. So, like, fuck it.
Yeah.
These
dogs aren't going to go to a nice home afterward. They're all dead anyway.
Yeah, they're all getting gassed.
Yeah.
I actually don't even, I think he shot it.
The cutest gas chamber in the world just for 5 dachshunds.
Yeah. Man, we just do a whole podcast on people
Animals.
getting killed by small animals. I imagine it was exactly like that scene in The Lost World where the guy gets eaten by the compies.
Oh, the little tiny things?
Yeah.
Probably. I would imagine so. Dan, how was your weekend?
It's not bad.
Yeah?
I didn't really have a weekend.
We were in work. We
we
here
worked
every day.
all week.
We're here every day.
So, yeah.
Oh, cool.
We had a little special guest came in, popped in.
Who was it?
Heard of him? Chuck Liddell.
Oh, man, that guy?
That guy.
That's
So
sick.
recorded
Charles
his
Liddell.
shows And Adam K. Yeah.
Nice,
Ray.
guys.
Adam Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, we started off the podcast by talking about bloodthirsty animals.
Yeah.
People,
animals you wouldn't think were bloodthirsty?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Animals that are wolves and maybe another kind of clothing. And we're kind of talking about that today. And I believe March is Women's Month.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about...
Now we're going with themes. Cool, guys.
So we're not going with themes. This just happens to line up. We're talking about a woman, a very prolific one. The single worst female serial killer of all time.
Okay.
On record. So we're talking about Elizabeth Bathory, or Bathory, rather. More commonly known...
Can we get a name check on that?
Where is she from?
Bathory?
Bathory,
Okay,
yeah. Elizabeth Bathory, more commonly known in the Western world as Elizabeth Bathory. She was born in 1560 to one of the most powerful Protestant families in Hungary at the time.
Okay, so she's in kind of near Dracula country.
Yes, very much near Dracula country.
Near vampire country. Actually, Transylvania is in Hungary, isn't it? Or is it in Romania? It's one of the two.
I don't know.
Well, Hungary doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't?
Or no, it does.
Hungary
Sorry.
exists.
Austria, Hungary doesn't exist anymore.
I was about to say, Hungary, a country,
My
dude.
thinking
roommate
of
in
Czechoslovakia.
college is from Hungary.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it Hungarian?
Yeah, he was Hungarian. His dad was like a pretty high up in Coca-Cola.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
He taught me how to play tennis, actually.
No.
Your Hungarian friend or his dad?
My roommate, yeah.
Oh.
No, I never met his dad.
Oh, okay. That'd be really weird if his dad taught you how to play tennis.
Yeah, you know, he
It's like, I must teach you the way.
was wearing some really short shorts and
Just hairiest legs you could ever imagine.
He's got that Coke money.
Yeah.
he's got that Coke money.
Just like dripping in tanning oil, Hungarian, like satin shorts, just like real getting after
like,
it.
when do I get the racket?
It's like, oh, you got to limber up first. Anyway, she was the
A
daughter.
lot of stretching. I don't need to be this loose.
Well,
Well, not for tennis. She was the daughter of Baron George Bathory and Baroness Anna Bathory, who were both Bathorys by birth.
tight.
Yeah, so
How far removed?
not far. They were cousins, I believe.
Okay, so real close. We're not talking like FDR.
We're not talking.
where
We're
they're
not
like
talking.
fourth cousins.
We're not talking first cousins either. Like obviously, I don't have the entire lineage, but so possibly stemming from inbreeding within her family. It's said that from an early age, Elizabeth suffered from seizures, loss of control, and fits of rage.
Even if it wasn't, if I was a doctor, I would just be like, it's probably that.
I
Like, I don't want to do my job.
it's gotta be-
You fucked each other in your family? Yeah, it's all because of that.
You know how like really, really obese people, like the doctors are always like, well, it's probably that. Like
yeah.
every
well,
time.
it's yeah.
Yeah,
Like, why
it's-
is
it's
this
a
happening, and it's like, well, it's
it's
you're gonna have to look at your weight first.
Yeah, I mean, really, before we can do anything else, like it's probably your body trying to kill itself. But also, and I'm just going to take a pause real quick. It is currently the Elite Eight right now. And so we have the Oregon State Houston game on. So if there's a moment where we all kind of zone off for a second, it's really close.
Houston's got this. It's over.
Yeah.
Jump ball, up
But-
5.
But I want
57
them
left.
to cover. I want Oregon State to cover. That's what I
You should
want.
be okay with that, unless
It's close. That's what I'm
Keep
saying.
fouling.
Yeah, I know.
There's
That's
one thing we know about college basketball. Is
they keep fouling.
to foul.
And so did Elizabeth during her childhood. As a child, though, well, she didn't foul, but a lot of people failed her, and she failed a lot of people. Anyway, I was trying to transition.
It seems like a
That
dark
works.
topic.
Yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
put the hood up.
Yeah, go for it. It is a dark topic. As a child, she witnessed the brutal punishments handed out by her family's officers on their estates.
family's officers.
Yeah, she's high up in the nobility.
Okay, so who are they? What, slaves?
Um,
No, they have
Servants.
their own army.
What?
well, like officers are just like,
No, I mean, who are they punishing?
oh, servants,
Yeah,
slaves.
sounds pretty slavey.
Yeah, I mean, 1560, it's still probably feudal at this point, right?
No, well, it
No.
depends on the country.
Hungary?
Russia had serfs until 1862. They liberated in the same year we liberated
But-
the slaves.
but
Or
what about-
emancipated them?
What about like in the mid 1500s? What's going on? Like
Yeah, there's
government
still,
wise?
I mean, dude, fucking John Smith was a slave.
yeah, okay. So,
So yeah,
Well,
there's-
then he was a slave captain. He
What?
was a slave, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, actually, no, he's going to be the leader."
Well,
of this.
no, that he wasn't a slave then. He was on death row then. He was the slave
Yeah.
in Turkey, or in the land of the Turks.
before he killed the 3 Turks.
Yeah.
the thing about being a slave is if you cut off 3 Turkish heads, you're pretty golden.
No, he had already cut off the heads. He had been captured later.
Oh, he was a slave
And-
to the Turks.
Yeah. And
that's
then,
right.
You know, was like,
Yeah.
got captured and made him a slave.
I
And then-
did the
remember-
episode.
Yeah, you remember that guy was like, just started beating him in the field one day, not realizing that John Smith was like a seasoned veteran.
Yeah, the guy that they kept sending guys to avenge the
Right.
guys he had already cut
Right.
the heads off of, and he kept cutting off their heads too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was John Smith was a real one for sure.
So yeah, there's full on slaves in Hungary. Let's just.
So one anecdote of the family violence against like servants that she saw, or just like subjects rather. One anecdote describes a gypsy accused of theft who was sewn up in the belly of a dying horse and left to die.
Oh, they did that.
Yeah, they did that kind of stuff.
You know how you die doing that, kind of, or like
suffocate?
you start to get eaten by like the
maggots
that-
inside the dead horse.
Yeah. They don't really differentiate.
Yeah, so you're just like,
So yeah, after
You're
a couple
just
days,
meat.
You're just like, "Ah!"
well, you smell like it. I imagine.
Is that a real thing, or is it like the
It's not the
bronze
iron.
bowl?
It's not the bronze bowl. Like they would do shit like that where they would put people in like this is like a medieval one, but they'd put them in like a canoe covered with honey, and then like break their legs and just kind of send them on their way,
Okay.
and they would just get eaten alive
by
by
what?
everything,
Vultures,
Like
anything?
a bear?
anything that could get them. But they're in a boat. They're not getting anywhere. Like
Right.
Like, I think they would break their appendages or some shit. Like,
Perfect.
Yeah. Just real chill ways to go.
Yeah.
Realistically, I have no idea, where are bears? I know they're in, obviously, the United States, but like, where in Europe are bears?
Russia
for sure.
All over.
But they're circus bears, and they ride tricycles. And
Where
go
do you think
through-
they get the circus bears,
Pretty much
Dan?
all of Europe has bears.
Yeah, but they're all trained bears, right? They can all go through hoops of fire.
There is a
and-
wild bear population.
that are released, that escape the circus. Yes, I get that. But
All bears come from the circus or America or Russia.
Yeah.
Well, no,
no, the circus bears in Russia.
Yeah, no. Where do you think those circus bears come from? That's what you're trying to get to the bottom of?
Yeah.
Where they come from?
America.
Yeah, they're all
Ship them.
from California.
But they're no
they're
wild bears,
California.
right?
They're California bears. They're hired
Well,
talent.
Russia's in
Golden bear?
Russia is in the Arctic Circle, so they do have polar bears that are not
true.
circus bears.
That's true.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Those are fun videos too. When a bear or fucking polar bear just starts walking through a northern Russian town.
Okay.
And everybody, it's like a tornado siren goes off.
I saw it was like somewhere, I want to say in like the Asian steppe,
Yeah.
where they had captured a bear in the village, and then they like put it in a cage and they like go to release it at the edge of town.
Yeah.
And they're all just shooting guns at it, and it's like, what do you want me like? Do you want me to leave or not? Like, I'm scared now. I'm gonna stay in the cage.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're gonna shoot guns at it, like,
Well,
why
I
not
mean,
just
it's
kill
pretty
the?
easy to
People are pretty
take care of a polar
pretty
bear.
fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Just give it some Coke and
Um,
it kind of casually just,
Is this what the Hungarian told you?
yeah. This is his advice. You give him a
You
Coca-Cola.
know how to make a bear purr?
He drinks a little Coca-Cola.
I think
and he gets like a tummy ache, and he has to lay down. That's pretty much.
I honest
is
to
that
God,
what happened?
is this
Did he
about
give you
bears still?
Coca-Cola?
Did he give me a
Yeah.
Coke?
Is this-
I
You got a
don't like
stomach
to
ache?
talk about it.
And then you
Okay.
went and laid down.
Yeah.
I was a
Were you
young,
his bear?
naive 19-year-old
He was the
man.
bear.
Yeah.
Anyway, so her family tree also included some pretty disturbed people. One of her uncles taught her Satanism pretty young.
Well, it's Hungary.
Yeah, I mean,
It's Eastern Europe.
everything's evil or sad.
Yeah.
And then,
Everything's so, it just feels dark. It's
Well,
weird to me that there was a time when that was the most prosperous part of Europe,
yeah,
because it doesn't make sense to me.
nope. And so, along with her uncle that taught her Satanism, there was an aunt that taught her about sadomasochism.
Well, you got to get the body with the mind, right?
It's all one thing. Yeah, you let the Satanism bring out the inner demons, and then you exercise those in the bodies of
you-
other
oh,
people.
Head body,
you-
head body.
Are you exorcising them or exorcising them?
Yes,
It feels like
both. You exercise to exorcise.
Feels like you're giving them a workout. To be honest, if anything.
Work those demons.
Yeah.
Feel the burn. And so, just to kind of, I guess I didn't really.
And 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Work
Yeah,
those demons right. Get those demons tied.
So just to kind of, I guess I didn't lead off with this. Elizabeth Bathory was also just like, I mentioned she was like 200 to 600 people she killed probably. Did I
I don't
mention
know
that?
if Oregon State's going to cover this.
Dude, I know this is kind of tough right now. Like, you guys, like, it's tough. But
Down 6, and Houston's shooting free throws.
the reason I thought of this though is because you know how like we're always talking about how things don't change and everything's crazier than like
Yeah.
was crazier. You know how like people are like, oh man, the elites, they kill children and like bathe in their blood
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And it's all kind of unsubstantiated and kind of outlandish and wild. This shit actually happened in 1560.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Like-
people did used to do that for sure.
Yeah. And like they got caught for it.
Right.
So Elizabeth was married. So she had a weird childhood, obviously. She was married by the time she was 15.
That's not weird.
No, not at the time.
Yeah. That's
no.
pretty normal.
That's-
That's like me being like, and then I went to summer camp.
Yep. Pretty much.
Her getting married and fucked at 15 is just me going to Boy Scout camp.
Yeah. So,
Getting fucked at 15.
yeah. So just the same exact thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Catholic summer sleepaway camp.
Whee!
Yeah. So
You got to make your macaroni pictures.
that's a Hebrew camp thing.
No, it's also, we do it too.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Macaroni
What do you guys make
photos.
pictures of?
Different things.
Like what?
Like we kind of adopt Moses too. Like Moses.
You stole Moses for your shitty sequel.
he's
I
like
remember
one-
that.
He's like one of the only cool Jewish people we have in the Bible that we accept.
So Adam, no.
No,
it's whatever.
it depends. Catholics are really more into like Moses and stuff like that, but the fucking like evangelicals and a lot of Protestants will go balls deep on like Isaiah
Oh.
and
We don't do that.
David
Ezekiel.
and Jeremiah. They really like the prophets and like Leviticus and shit like that.
Are you a big Book of Enoch people?
I'm not a big Enoch guy.
Yeah, no, I think it's only Ethiopians.
Whenever people start quoting that, I say, hey, knock it off.
Yeah, that's not canonical, guys. All right, so she was married at 15 to Count Ferenc Nadasti.
Nailed it.
Yeah,
That just sounds like a Pixar villain
it does.
or like a Frozen villain sequel.
So
Ferenc?
Ferenc
Yeah, that's
Nadasti. He was a
Hey, you're
soldier.
gonna get that cover.
Hell
Last
yeah.
second 3 to make it
6 point game.
6 point.
All right, guys, everything will be a lot more streamlined and consistent, but I'm very happy I just covered. So
Well,
something could happen. But
Worst case scenario, you push.
shut up,
They
Dan.
foul here and they make free throws. And
Why would they foul? They're going to
seconds?
foul with 3 seconds, aren't they?
Yeah.
Aren't they?
yeah, they're only down 6.
Yeah,
That's so
they
They're
have to.
for sure fouling.
fuck. So I'm fucked.
He called a timeout. They're fouling.
Fuck.
Tinkle doesn't.
Okay,
doesn't
we're
give
on
up.
YouTube Live. I don't know how many people actually watch this.
We're
in
not
any given-
actually. I turned off the live version. We'll upload it later.
Okay, cool.
Whatever. All right, let's get back to this bitch.
Yeah, let's get
She's
back
married
to
to a
it.
guy named Ferenc.
Yeah, Ferenc Nadasti. He's a soldier who.
Ferenc Nadasti, like literally, again, that's a Frozen villain.
Okay, a soldier who would go on to lead the armies of Hungary against Ottoman forces threatening Central Europe. After her marriage, the Countess became the mistress of the Nadasti estate, where the couple earned a reputation as harsh masters of their servants.
Well, runs in the family.
Right, it runs deep. There's a lot of problems.
Yeah.
There's incest, there's epilepsy, there's fits of rage, there's satanic
Slave
uncles,
torture.
slave torture.
I learned it from you, Mom.
Yeah, I learned it from my entire family. Yeah. So building upon her own cruelty, it is believed that Ferenc showed her some of his own ways of punishing.
He's like, oh, that's pretty good, but have you tried this?
Yeah, basically he's like,
Hold
step aside,
Yeah.
Mrs. Like,
Have you ever, he's like, did you know that you can use a peasant's pelvis as like a giant wishbone? You know what I mean?
And we'll
Like,
just
me
stand
you
there and,
break
like-
it at the end after dinner.
yeah.
Make a wish.
Yeah, my wish is more dead peasants. Hey, so they just bring another one in.
Turns out that's often what her wish was. So although the Count participated in his wife's torture activities, it wasn't until the death of her husband in 1604
It's already sus.
Yeah. No, he dies away. Like I think he
okay.
dies in battle or something.
Okay.
That Elizabeth's true evil came to fruition.
She wasn't even started yet.
No, this was
Amateur hour.
just like tiddlywinks.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like whatever. Like
A serial killer in his younger days just killing squirrels.
this is
Yeah.
this is
And
like
I think I agree with what Dan's saying that 16th century human peasant is equivalent
It's a
to a
squirrel.
21st century squirrel.
Yeah.
absolutely. And also she's pretty much part of the nobility. She is part of the nobility, very close to royalty. So she's getting to do it with impunity anyway. No one's
you
talking
covered.
about it.
Yeah, you don't ask questions.
Fuck yeah, just covered. All right, made some money tonight, boys. So although the Count participated, it wasn't until his death that she really started getting going. She eventually moved to one of her castles in northwest Hungary, now Slovakia, and began surrounding herself with a cohort of servants to help her with her torture practices.
I love that her husband died and she was like, I guess maybe upset about it and was like, that is it. I am done. Like, no more Mrs. Nice Count. I fuck life, fuck everything. I'm
Putting
getting
my foot down.
Yeah, I'm getting serious about this shit now.
Yeah, so this is kind of, there is one aspect of her killings and slayings that is kind of like sus. Like it's always in legend and talked about, and there's reports of it, but like nothing's ever confirmed by it because no one sees it happen in person.
Right.
But legend has it that one day an attendant girl was brushing Elizabeth's hair, and she accidentally pulled too hard and like tugged a snag in her hair on the brush.
Mm-hmm.
So the Countess like gets up angry and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Jumps up and like hits her with the back of her hand, just like so hard that she draws a bunch of blood on her hand. And she like left the blood on her hand just to like prove a point.
Mm-hmm.
Later that night, Elizabeth noticed that like when she was washing her hands, the skin on her hand where the blood had been looked more youthful than she had seen it in many years. And so this isn't, no one's thinking like, oh, crazy Countess, I have a bunch of inbreeding genes. Like I'm probably seeing shit and imagining wild hallucinations. She's like, oh, so like if a small amount of blood could make my hand look young, then more could probably restore the youthfulness of my whole body.
By the way,
the Blood Boys.
Yeah.
You'll recall that Madame Lalaurie also had a hair brushing incident.
It's interesting because
Look, if the world goes to shit, guys, and we go back to some sort of post-apocalyptic feudal society.
You need like
You
20
don't-
servants.
and you become in servitude to some psycho warlord, but it's better than living out with the wolves and bears that only roam North America.
Don't be on hair duty.
Do not be on fucking. Don't let your kids be on hair duty. No one's on hairbrushing duty for the lady of the estate.
No.
Ever.
It is the worst job. to
Number
have.
one rule.
You are going to be brutally murdered.
Yes.
Yeah. So she was basically like, well, if this made my hand look young, my whole body could look young because this is how virgin blood works, I guess. So
Science.
that's when people say she started to get a taste for virgin blood, specifically bathing in it.
Okay.
And so that is the one piece that is like not obviously
Good
everything.
news for local virgins is that bathtubs were much smaller back then.
That's true. You still probably needed at least one or two
I would go 3 to 4.
to fill. How much blood do you think is in a 14-year-old?
Well, it's more how much blood can you get out of a 14-year-old.
Gallons, easily. How many gallons are in the?
Yeah,
You know,
like
to
if
be
you-
honest,
if
though-
you fucking took a fucking
You bleed them dry.
I mean,
Okay.
you can't toothpaste tube a 14-year-old without some serious machinery.
Well, Dan's thinking like you just cut something and let it run out.
Yeah,
See
yeah,
the
You're not
way
gonna get all the
they
blood out,
see
though.
the problem
It's
with
gonna
that.
be- you're not gonna get all the blood out.
It's called hanging the child upside down.
Yeah, but she probably wants to get in it warm. So you only have I'm thinking you do 3 or 4 at a time.
The blood, no matter what, when she gets in, by the time she gets enough blood, it's gonna be lukewarm anyway. It's not like it's cold. Well, I guess it depends on the time of the year.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Do you think she takes ice blood baths?
probably not.
No.
I don't think you would want it cold.
No, you'd want the pores to open up and get the blood in there, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So anyway, yeah, Dan, the problem with that is that the way they go about killing people isn't very blood conscious. They're not conserving the blood as they go about
You know,
killing them.
There's just a way more efficient. Like they're not about efficiency.
No, they're noble. They have plenty of fucking peasants to kill for fun. You know what I mean?
Man, like the least you could do is just limit the number of children.
Okay, so let me get this straight.
These are squirrels to them.
If you are
get that.
if you are a
But
sadistic
I'm not
psychopath
killing, like say if
that
I'm,
wants to bathe in the blood of virgins, you owe them a bit of you owe them something to
you're
be
gonna run out, man. That's all I'm saying is you only got a limited supply of virgins.
Dan's not wrong.
He is wrong.
Dan's
you
not-
have a nearly unlimited supply of virgins.
No.
No.
Dan's wrong. Or Dan's not wrong. You're wrong, actually, Rob. Okay, so when her husband died in 1604, before it even turned 1605, she gets a task force together. Just like a let's fuck up some innocent people task force.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
it's like when COVID first struck and nobody knew what was happening, so you hit the grocery store for anything you could find. Dude, I went through those rations in 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think you'd do better because how often are you going to eat jalapeno poppers and random frozen tortellini?
That's all you eat.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
And, Tostitos, pizza rolls.
So she surrounds herself with a special group of servants. In addition to Anna Darvolia, I was trying to look up more. This seemed to be
Every Eastern European name sounds evil.
I know, Anna Darvolia. Yeah. So I was
Or a
trying to
tennis
figure
player.
out
Yeah.
who this was because they mentioned her name a couple times, but they never specify oh, that's what her role was. They're just she was the lead of the servant group. I think it might have been her daughter, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So Anna Darvolia is the ringleader of it. Then there's 4 others, and it's an unusual mix of 3 old women and a disfigured boy who would all serve as her chief torturers and execution squad. They would collectively torture and kill dozens of children, almost exclusively servant girls between the ages of 10 to 14 in their administrative and supervisory roles.
Nobody wondered why there's so many fucking job postings from that.
So yeah, there was a lot of job postings.
Yeah.
So they were also over the supervisors of the countess's young seamstresses, washerwomen, and kitchen maids. So they were always oh man, we got more work. We need more kids. Bring them on in. We'll interview them. And people are starting to be no one's ever coming back from these interviews.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah. So physically, the reason behind the 10 to 14-year-old girls, one, you're either going with the virgin blood theory where she's bathing in it, or you think about it and it's their little girls are easy targets for old women and a disfigured guy. And, it's easier to snatch them up that way. She's just bloodthirsty.
Can't say I appreciate your ableism there.
It's not mine.
Well,
it's theorists.
It's I think. Well, I don't appreciate their ableism.
Well, yeah, I don't either. That's why I think they were trying to bathe her in blood every day.
I'm talking about you just think a disfigured boy can only take down young girls. Give him credit.
Well, I mean, it's also a group of old ladies. Like,
I don't like your ageism either.
They're not running up.
What was wrong with them?
Yeah, what if you just had like a crazy eye?
Like a hunchback?
I don't know exactly how disfigured he was.
You don't think this guy could track down boys and men?
I'm just saying, if like
who's Quasimodo literally threw a man
Quasimodo
off Notre Dame.
He is a Disney character.
Well, no, there's a book.
Yeah, he's
much darker.
Well, he's a fiction character.
Well, he ripped a man in half too.
Did he?
I think.
Okay.
Quasimodo is actually what we call a public domain character.
Oh.
So we're not like we can use Quasimodo in anything.
Oh man, Teen Quasimodo sitcom. No one take that. Anyway, but like during reports, all of the accomplices agreed that the Countess Bathory would take whip, cudgel, dagger, fire iron, needle, or cutting shears to her slaves often, or servants often.
Like would use those on them.
Oh, just all the time. Just for shits and gigs.
These aren't even the servants that she's taken to the basement and like fully killing. These are just ones that like she walks by and like shivs just for fun.
Yeah.
I just imagine this all being like as dull as a butter knife too.
Oh yeah, it's not like fucking good steel and shit. Like fire irons, man. Imagine just getting fucked with a fire iron.
Like a red hot poker.
Yeah.
That's whatever. But
no.
What, you guys? Yeah, we all got frat brands, right?
I'm not trying to get my throat slit by just like a plastic knife that you use.
just like
barbecue.
an old, think about this. An old lady just walks by, hey, and just like slashes your throat with a butter knife. Just a dull butter knife.
Just
like
a Chipotle knife that you get.
And then just pours that free Chipotle sauce in there. Yeah. So young women begin to start disappearing from the villages all around where they're at.
How big were these villages?
So it's not only like they're bringing in talent from neighboring villages.
Okay, because there's only so many. Like, I mean, in the country, there's a lot. Like, we make nothing but virgins. You know?
Now you're concerned about like
the supply.
All right,
Yeah, this is because
I'm flip-flopping.
Okay, Rob is flip-flopping. Yeah, because Dan is right about supply. Unhappy girls were being lured to the castle with the prospect that they would find
never
work.
get high on your own supply, lady.
Keep the virgins in town happy. Just get them from elsewhere.
You got to outsource.
Yeah.
True.
We were outsourcing a lot of humans back then, so I don't know why
back then. What do you mean? We still do.
Yeah,
Yikes.
Well, not we. Don't put me in on this.
All right. Well,
the country that we live in outsources a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, furniture, online furniture.
Oh God, we're not. No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Did anyone drop 13 grand just to see if there was? No one was dropping 13 grand to save a kid. I noticed that they were all like, "Oh man, what the fuck?" No one's like, "Oh, if you really think there's kids in there, maybe buy a $13,000 cabinet and see if there's a kid in it." You know what I mean? Like that's
is the kid already dead?
Respect.
Why would you just have a dead kid?
Do you poke holes in it like a when you transport your like a animal with a box?
Yeah, it's like a puppy in a Christmas fucking present. Look, man, I'll say this about the Capitol rioters. At least they acted on what they believed in. You know, how many people thought Wayfair was shipping kids and were just cool with it?
Just like sick.
Or we're not even just like sick. They were just like, well, that's wrong. Well, gonna have my coffee now. Like,
Also,
we were talking about this earlier. What were you saying? How many people actually believe in QAnon now?
I saw someone. I think it was this great Twitter follow if you're like just like kind of political stuff, but also she talks about college football a lot too because she used to be a college football reporter. Jane Coaston writes for the New York Times now. Used to be on Vox. I know those websites kind of suck, but she is really great. And she was saying that there was like more people that believe in QAnon in the United States than there are like lesbians or something.
That's insane.
Yeah. It might have been more people that believe in some or all of QAnon.
I was watching
not just like there's not like 8 million people like waiting for the next message.
There's but just to a level
who buy it.
Well, I mean, like even fucking like you can layer in. I don't know if you're layering in like Pizzagate people and shit too into QAnon because like
much all the same.
There's overlaps, but they're different. I feel like too.
Yeah.
But
this isn't a QAnon podcast.
Yeah, no. I will say though, I was watching Into the Storm on HBO Max. It's like a 4-parter on QAnon. The first couple is from my hometown. like that
makes
they
sense.
interview. Yeah, it's like God.
Ocala?
Yeah, Ocala, Florida. I'm
I've
like,
said this
God
before, I
damn
say this
it.
again. I was so happy that I didn't see any like St. Louis Cardinals hats running around the Capitol.
Well,
I was fucking waiting for it.
Saw
Yeah.
plenty of Eagles gear.
Yeah.
A lot of Eagle.
A lot
Probably
of
a lot of
Telco's finest.
probably a lot of Terps gear too. I imagine. Like,
Well, they're close.
yeah, they are.
They're close by.
Yeah, but
Okay.
University of Maryland. Not
So
so much.
anyway, back to torturing kids that actually happens, or happened. Unhappy girls were lured to the castle with the prospect of work. When they arrived, they were locked up in a cellar as they awaited their torture. So Elizabeth carried out much of the torture herself, often beating the girls to death, just showing up, beating the shit out of them until they died, like slowly. Sometimes she would sew a girl's mouth shut, force her to eat her own flesh, or even often burn their genitals.
Yeah, all the good stuff.
Yeah, just the striking off all the boxes for
So just
insane.
don't fuck your cousins, guys.
Yeah, this if anything,
Would that be the easiest way to bleed someone out? Just cut their junk off, like a dude.
Maybe if they were hard.
no.
You just cut
No.
everything off.
There's not. It's not like vital arteries. I think in the penis.
Yeah, you would still pass out though for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you're still leaking.
You would probably bleed to death. I think.
I mean,
left it
if you
unattended.
okay,
But it
that's a
wouldn't
good
be the-
point.
but it wouldn't be the fast.
It wouldn't be the It wouldn't be the
Yeah,
most
yeah.
efficient way to kill someone by letting them bleed out.
femoral artery, actually, I think would be the best.
The one in your femur. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one where you die. Like,
Okay, so don't cut off the guy's junk if you want him to bleed out. But
Yeah,
is that the first place you go to eat a person, right?
Actually,
that
the
German
penis
guy. Yeah.
the penis. Actually, they overcooked it when the German guy cooked the penis.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, they were both complaining that it was overcooked.
Well, a lot going on.
Can you imagine?
There's a lot going on.
Okay, let me get.
First off, you're supposed to fry, like Rocky Mountain oysters. It's fried for a reason.
Well, they skillet fried it.
Deep fry. Yeah, you got to deep fry it.
They skillet fried it, but they said it was too rubbery. It's like, oh, gee, you think?
Imagine
already
doing all that and then it's a disappointment.
Like you fantasize your whole life about eating yourself and like having someone cannibalize you, and you both get to enjoy that dinner, and
Before
it's like,
you die.
and you're
yeah.
like, yeah,
And you're like, yeah,
I
no.
could use some salt. Like,
Wasn't that good?
I thought my
you
dick
die.
would taste a lot different.
Yeah.
Anyway,
some hot sauce on it. Like,
so these are some interesting takes. So they eventually, later on, they try the servants that are that main ring, and they are getting testimony. So here's some of the testimonies of the torture. One of them stated that the Countess would bite out pieces of flesh from the girls, but
Bite off. Right? You said bite off?
bite out like pieces of flesh from the girls, like bite it and like just keep biting.
Like an animal.
Yeah, like an animal. But she also attacked them with knives and tortured them in other various ways. Another agreed that Elizabeth bit the girls' faces and shoulders when she was indisposed and could not get out of bed to beat them to death. So one of the things that she would do was she would have the servants, like if she was like, oh, I feel hungover from all this bloodlust killing.
Yeah.
They would like bring a girl over to her to just bite on
hair the dog,
like
dude.
lazily.
So it's like me eating Pizza Hut in bed.
I have you guys ever read Dune?
Dune? No.
Dune. Okay. The Cooper, have you ever read Dune?
I started reading the first one, but
No.
it's real information.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a lot of information. Like it reminds me of there's this character that's just like this royalty that gets brought like boys to like eat their organs and shit like that. And this is literally that. Like she would just be laying in her bed all like slopped up, like need more blood, and then like they just bring her a body. It's disgusting. I mean, yeah, it's nuts.
Yes, that's better to be better to join than I guess be one of the tortured ones.
Speaking of which, hangover food back then had to suck. It's just fucking porridge.
Dude, food sucked back then.
Like,
food wasn't really
Give
good.
out like food for the average dog shit.
I mean,
well, if
There
you're
was a hangover
if you're a
cure,
queen.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like Central Europe shit, like
can't just-
it's not like they have a
It's
ton
not
of
like you're
spices.
not having a feast every other week, you know.
No.
No, but
That's like maybe
what's the-
biannual?
yeah, what's the seasoning like? It's salt, maybe.
No,
We live such
not a chance.
we live such soft little
Yeah.
Candyland lives.
Also, one of the other things she did was she taught all her servants how to stick needles under their fingernails, and then
She taught them
she taught the servants to do that.
So
themselves?
She just got lazy.
Okay. When I say servants,
She taught her murder servants.
her murder servants how
Okay.
to put pins underneath
Okay,
the
see
needles.
here, I thought she was just trying to like streamline the process. It's
Right. She's like,
here,
all right,
just
everyone do
kill
this
yourself.
yourself. I'm real tired today. You just start shoving it under your fingernails.
No, that would be even more sadistic. But so that was a trick because she'd make the girls leave the needles there, and if they would pull them out, she would cut their finger off. So
Well.
yeah, I mean, these are the kind of like wild things that were going through her head when, she's
How
nobility.
old is she, like, right now in this story?
So
How old was she when her husband
1560. She's about 45
died? Okay.
right now. So we get to Dan's part of the story.
Is she a looker? What's she look like?
I only know
Gotta be
from
painting, right?
there's Renaissance paintings, so I can look up.
She look like Miss Havisham or
Yeah, who's Miss Havisham again, Dan?
Great Expectations.
Okay,
I know that from the South Park episode that mimics that, like,
the entire Great
I'll
Expectations.
be real. This was one of the few books I actually read in high school.
This is what she looks like from portraits, Dan. So I can't tell
Good.
you. She looks like she could be on a deck of playing cards.
mean,
she's
like,
pretty
she looks like a.
Yeah, like I would.
she's pretty attractive.
Would you like? What
Yeah.
do you? How are you?
She's pretty attractive.
The painting is essentially a white
the
circle.
Queen of
with-
Hearts.
I mean, that blood did not need a job.
She looked. Hey, leave the laptop alone,
I'm just looking at it.
dude. Stop. Get your hand above the table.
No. Yeah, I mean, she's not bad, dude.
Yeah, can you excuse me for a sec, guys?
Can you not take my laptop to the bathroom with you? That would be great. All right, so yeah, Dan and Rob jerk off to the Queen of Hearts and they're playing cards when they run out of pornography, I guess.
When we run
You
out.
gotta switch it up, man. I'm desensitized to all this. at
Yeah,
this
you
point.
need some good medieval.
Pornhub just doesn't do it for me anymore.
So we run into Dan's problem as Elizabeth begins to run out of young women because she'd either already taken them or the villagers actually at one point, everyone's caught wind of this in her village at this point.
Yeah, hard not to keep that secret.
Yeah.
Or hard to keep that secret.
When do they kind of circle the group and
We're getting to that.
Pitchforks.
We're getting.
grab their pitchforks and their
Be like-
torches?
When do they eventually be like, this is getting ridiculous?
It's about now.
Listen. The first 100, okay. Like, we'll give you that.
Ma'am, when your husband around, it was one thing. He was a count. All
He was
right.
a respectable gentleman.
He would just sew up gypsies in horse bellies. But you're going too far with this virgin blood stuff.
We will not stand for it.
They won't.
First, they sewed the gypsies and horses. And I said nothing.
Because I was not a gypsy and a horse. I was not a gypsy nor a horse. Anyway, so the local villagers started hiding their daughters out of fear that she would take them, which great call.
Yes.
She began to resort to noble girls, which is a decision that obviously would lead to her demise.
It's gonna backfire, yeah.
Yeah. So there was a murder in 1609. So Elizabeth is almost 50 years old now, of a noble girl. And Elizabeth tries to stage it as a suicide. And the authorities finally decided to act, which means the suicide, she probably just laid her outside all beaten up
Right.
and bloodied and was like, oh,
Like,
she
my
died.
God.
Whoa, she beat herself to death with a hammer.
Maria cut her own head off.
So weird.
Oh, how many hot pokers did she stick inside herself? She must troubled girl.
She needed help.
Why didn't we ever ask how she was doing?
Terrible. So the authorities
Just the worst frame job ever.
I just imagine someone was put in a compression chamber and they just laid the flat body
Right.
out and they're like, oh, she killed herself. A boulder hit her.
Handwritten note just said, I did it myself.
Yeah.
Me sad. Bye. So the authorities finally decided to act. During a night raid, officials searched the castle and discovered the dead bodies of young girls everywhere they looked.
Everywhere.
Everywhere
It's
they
like
were.
opening a spice cabinet. It's like Bateman's apartment.
They made it 2 rooms in, and they had found 15 girls
got
dead.
it.
Yeah,
2 rooms?
they were they cleared 2
That's
rooms.
the foyer.
Yeah, they just keep finding dead bodies, right? So they were rolling up on them, and some were missing arms and eyes. One body was just in the fireplace, not yet even fully burned. Just she put the body out for fire later.
Yeah.
She was taken to trial, and many testified against her, including her servants as well as survivors. Which God, to be a survivor of
Also,
that.
how long? What was the time between survival and trial?
What was the?
She's like, 5 years ago, she cut both my hands off, and none of you listened.
Yeah. I'm imagining survivors were the ones they hadn't gotten around to killing yet that were in the cellar.
Okay.
Not people
That-
I don't think they were doing any catch and release out of this
Okay, These
castle.
were cellar people that
Yeah.
she was keeping in the fridge for a later date.
Yeah. Basically.
Leftovers.
Well, no. It was her Thursday Hello Fresh of virgin blood.
Yeah, pretty much. One of the servants said that girls were tied up and beaten to death until their whole body was black as charcoal and their skin was battered and torn. One girl suffered from 200 blows before dying. Another servant admitted that she had taken red hot pokers and shoved them into the mouth of one girl. She said she placed her fingers in the mouth of another and pulled it until the sides split open. So she was just like pure bloodlust. She just yanked her jaw off, basically.
No, I think.
Oh, yeah, that way. Yeah, like Joker style.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Not ideal.
for a while, they were gonna bring her out into court, like, because I think the king of Hungary or whatever was like, okay, we're
Probably
gonna
gotta get involved in that one.
yeah, he's like, we're gonna have a big fucking trial for this. Like, she's gonna go in front of court, and eventually, I think like some of her family, the Bathorys were still pretty prominent. She's just like, they're like, she's just bad. Like, fuck it,
Yeah.
don't put her on trial. Like, just let's do this how royals do it. And he was finally like, all right, we'll kill all the servants. So Elizabeth and her servants were convicted on 80 counts of murder, but evidence showed that as many as 650 females may have been killed in total. Her servants were sentenced to death, but Elizabeth was imprisoned for life in a room in her own castle, and it was boarded up with tiny slits for air and food. But basically, they had stonemasons come in and wall her door off, that her room could never be accessed again.
Okay, wait. So they just stopped feeding her?
They'd slide food to her every day, and she'd slide the plate out.
Okay.
And they just kept her in that one room. She lived in that room for 3.5 years before she was found dead, lying face down on the floor.
Well, she didn't send back the food every day then. She didn't live 3.5 years on no food.
No, I meant like she'd send the plate back when she was done with the food.
Oh, okay, I thought you.
She wasn't just stacking plates in there.
Just hunger strike.
There's not that many plates.
I thought she was just sending the food back.
No. It's not blood. I don't want it. This isn't a 14-year-old girl. Get it out of here.
Well, that's kind of 3.5 years of being tortured.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a little more fitting.
That's solitary. I
Yeah.
mean, solitary is terrible.
Yeah,
I would never do solitary. Like, if I was in prison for
It's an
whatever
awful
reason.
card game. Yeah.
I actually think I would prefer solitary confinement.
Solitary
I don't want to be in Gen Pop.
You would go crazy in solitary.
I don't know. I have fun with myself.
Would you just jerk off the whole time?
That'd be a big part of the day for sure.
You would
What else
just
you gotta
ruin that room for the next guy that has solitary.
You know what? I mean, I gotta think there's a lot of jizz in a normal cell.
There's got to be tons of jizz in prisons.
In a normal cell, let alone
Prison is all semen.
It's just all cum. That's all it is.
Just one big cum fest.
Well, yeah.
We'd also like to thank our sponsor, cumfest.com. Just kidding. We don't have a sponsor yet.
I'm sure cumfest.com exists.
I'm sure it does. I don't want to do it.
There's not
Just
a chance
type it
it
in.
doesn't
Put it incognito window.
This
type
isn't.
it
This is
in.
my work computer. I'm not
ExpressVPN.
doing it.
Boo.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, yeah. So,
So hold on. The servants, how'd they kill the servants? In some horrible way?
they hung him.
Okay.
Pretty sure they hung him.
All right. I mean, that's getting hung is fairly humane, all things considered.
How did
Pretty
they kill Elizabeth?
It's fine.
And she just lived out her days in a fucking cell, huh?
Well, the last 3.5 years of her days, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty long life for
53?
for her, that time.
That's not that long.
Oh yeah, she did the honey thing too. Actually, this just came up. She would smear some people with honey and leave them to be attacked by bees and ants in the woods. Just fucking.
You gotta mix it up. Well,
Yeah.
what's the joy in that? Do you stay and watch?
Well, that's the thing. Like, where's the hunt?
also so much honey. That
That's
takes so much honey.
So
Are they like a fucking mosquito and amber on like John Hammond's fucking cane? Like how much honey is on them?
enough to attract bees and ants from far away, I
And these
guess.
bees are probably pissed off because they stole their honey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, wait, that's my honey.
They're just trying to recollect the
And
honey.
by the way, I think circuses did exist back then, so you might be getting an errant bear.
You might get a circus bear, yeah.
Yeah, but they're trained.
They're trained.
Well, not the ones that escape.
Yeah, those are the bad
Not
ones.
trained very well.
That's why they're so wild when you see them in the forest. They got out of the circus. They're not well behaved.
It's true.
Yeah. Actually, there's no such thing as wild bears. They all come from circuses.
Bad bear, bad bear.
Anyway, that's Elizabeth Bathory. What'd you guys think?
I think people used to really do whatever they wanted.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot
second
more-
theme of ours.
Yeah.
The first one is shit don't change. Although shit do change. Some
'Cause-
shit do change.
Yeah, like this is definitely not happening enough to where
No, this
it
is
probably
happening.
happens.
This is,
Yeah.
like
I'm-
Saudi Arabia right now.
Oh
This is
yeah.
happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Might
Ooh.
be some weird shit going on there. But Hungary,
even Dubai.
Hungary in the 15th or 16th century and early 17th century, that is like a developed nation.
Yeah.
Listen, I have a theory. I've seen all these Instagram girls. Their last photo is always in Dubai. I never
Their
hear
last
from them.
one is
Never hear from them again.
yeah.
They get
God,
flown out.
That's a great bit. That is a great bit. Like, seriously, that's fantastic.
Should we take this offline?
Yeah, we should talk about this.
Gotta
later.
write this down.
Yeah, we gotta jot this one down.
Yeah, man. Definitely living better than we used to.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was interesting because we always hear talks of elites drinking baby blood and stuff like that, and you know,
Peter Thiel.
Yeah,
Please
well,
don't sue us.
it's topical too with Ghislaine Maxwell getting some charges today.
yeah,
Or
Yeah.
Ghislaine. I'm
she
sorry,
got charged for
Ghislaine.
trafficking a 14-year-old.
Yeah,
Not a good one. She got slapped with one charge.
and she's gonna be in jail forever.
Yeah, until she's dead.
That's
Yeah.
it. Eh,
Well, which will be like next week.
that's like the equivalent of Reggie Bush losing his Heisman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like everyone knows he won that Heisman.
Well, how many times, as they said, this is something funny. Someone said, like a law enforcement official said when they were trying to figure out how to charge the Boston bomber that survived, the hot one that they put on Rolling Stone's cover. They were like
God, what was his name?
Zarnarov, something like that.
Yeah, he had an interesting first name though.
It was like Joker, Jokov, Zarnarov, something weird like that. Anyway, someone was like, yeah, you know, they might charge him with this, they might charge him with that. He's almost certainly getting the death penalty though, and like I don't know what you want. Like you can only kill him once. You know? Like there's only so much you can, literally only so much you can do.
No, dig that asshole back up and just do the same like over and over again.
No,
to
what
his
you
dead
do
body.
is you invent a time machine, you slap a wig on him, you send him to this bitch's castle, and just with a wicker basket, and just let her go to work.
Just
You know,
have him
so he looks like a servant girl.
What if like time machine does get invented and that is how we punish like super bad criminals? It's like, oh, we're gonna send you to like,
It's like Looper, kind of.
yeah, I guess that is Looper, isn't it?
Yeah,
Everything's been done.
just send them back to like the middle of. Well, you just send them to.
You
You can't
just-
send them back in time because they'll fuck the timeline up. Oh, that's what you do is you
Butterfly
actually
effect.
Yeah.
you send them to the future, where like right when Earth is being complete, like the sun's exploding into Earth.
Oh yeah. And so he's just getting like incinerated.
Yeah.
That's a huge waste of
He's the
time.
last man on the planet. though.
Yeah,
just-
just use a bullet.
Just kill him.
He gets that little feather in his cap.
Yeah.
last man on the
Why
planet.
does he get that feather?
Right, that's true.
What would be crazy is like, okay, I'm sorry, I did smoke a little bit before coming here, but so-
Oh no.
yeah, I know. So if that was the thing you were doing, where you're sending them to like the last moment on Earth, like it would be so funny because there would just be like at that instant, like a million fucking felons would just show up at once.
Everyone's like,
But yeah, it's like, what are you doing here? Yeah, be good. Anyway, that was that episode, guys. So thanks so much for listening.
like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple.
review.
Leave a review. Tell your friends about us. We would really like to get more of your friends to listen to us because we want to be friends with your friends.
to monetize the podcast.
Well,
We just
we're
wanna make
there
money.
actually, so but keep getting it. I mean, we
Are we?
have the
Keep
listener
growing, yeah.
amount. Yeah,
Are we there?
we are. We do have the listener amount to start monetizing, but keep helping us grow.
Otherwise,
It's just a matter of us getting off our ass and doing it.
It's just
Well, what do we do?
sponsored by 4 dudes right now. Shouts to Coop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks as always, Coop.
We'll talk
for
about it off
helping
air.
us out today. And yeah, guys, for Jake Goldman, I'm Rob Fox.
Nailed it.
Whoops.
Crushed it.
Yeah. And Dan Regester.
And you just got soft served.
Bye.